Well, hello, everyone. I'm Paula, and welcome to Off the Clock. This is the show where job titles take a break and real conversations steal the spotlight. No labels, no LinkedIn perfect answers, just honest conversations. Quick thing before we get started, if you enjoy real conversations like this one, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, Off Script with Paula. Give this video a like, share it with someone you would like, you think you should be watching with you. This is a new channel for me, YouTube, and I really appreciate any help. You will help me to reach more people. So I really appreciate it. And if you join us live, don't be shy. Say hello in the chat. We'll be watching your comments. We love interactions. We will do our best to answer you. And yeah, that's what makes this live show magical. So, today's guest built her career in hospitality from the ground up, starting in Brazil, growing up into leadership in the US, with experience across operations, sales, and leadership. She brings a well-rounded perspective on what it really takes to succeed in this industry. She's also a podcaster, podcast host, having meaningful conversations with leaders across hospitality and beyond. So I am really excited for this conversation. Please, everybody, help me welcome. Let me get it here. Just one second. Wilka Nascimento. Welcome to the show, Wilka.
Yay! Hey, Paula, how are you?
I'm really good. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to get it right when I say it in the sound effect. For me, it's a little bit like I'm still have to improve my production,
I
whatever
love
skills.
it. I love it. I love it.
But thank you so much, Wilka, for being here. I know you're very busy, so I really appreciate it. So, Wilka, before we get into your career, I would love to hear a little bit more about your journey as a Brazilian and expat living in the US. So, as a Brazilian abroad, did you ever feel pressure to adapt, or versus stay authentic? How is the balance there?
That's a wonderful question. When I came to the States, I was 19 years old, Paula. It's been 20 years now that I've been here. And as you know, because, we've had this conversation in another time, that I am from a small town in Brazil. I'm from Cuiabá, Mato Grosso. And when I came, I was very eager to learn English and learn the culture and just, immerse myself 100%. And so this was the first time. And then when I was back in Brazil, I finished college, I came back. So I'm like, I gotta go now, So basically, the exchange program of work abroad, I did 3 times. So I already knew from the first one that I wanted to, take this journey. And 20 years later, I'm still here.
That's awesome. And but did you feel since the first time that you moved, and now even now, do you feel like you still have to kind of adapt of like who you are, your culture, in terms to be either accepted or even successful in the
Um,
US?
Yeah, definitely. I think there is, adaptation for sure, flexibility in learning the culture and where I am. But I have never stopped being me. As when we met in Rio, you know that I'm loud. I saw you from, a mile away. I'm like, I'm so happy to see you and hug you and have this warmth feeling that, when I see people and that I like, of course, and I think the challenge for me was I had to tone down a little bit in business because I can't hug everybody that I meet for the first time, right?
I know the feeling. Yeah, when I lived in Sweden, so I'm also Brazilian for those who don't know, but I think everybody knows by now. And then we touch people when we talk, and we hug. And in Sweden, they're like, nah, not really.
Especially too during this challenging phase of COVID and so forth. So
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't even get close, maintain my distance. It's still
yeah,
when I see people or have meetings, etc. But
yeah,
definitely adapt to the food, to the culture, and Brazil. As we are familiar, it's a huge country, just so the US as well. So I've lived, in different areas. I've lived in New York and California, and the vibe is definitely different, right? From like New York is like your business, people don't have time to chit chat, and you got to get things done. And just like in California, it's completely different. I remember I was closing a deal in California. It took me a month, and I almost had a heart attack because I thought it was too long to get a contract signed. So, but you have to adjust yourself with the local culture of the coast where you are.
yeah. And now taking to the positive side of it, do you think that something about being a Brazilian helped you, or Brazilian culture helped you, or made you better at hospitality in general?
Um, that's a great question, and I think for us, right, like from us that we are from Brazil, it's very natural for us to be. Uh, it's like a part of our culture, right? To be accommodating, to know how to spark, right, a guest experience, or it definitely has helped me. And I believe also it's really rewarding, because in the end of the day, it's just another plus, right? Like you can talk to a person from South America. I also speak Spanish, so I can communicate with different people. So I
Yeah,
think that definitely helps, and not just when I communicate, I try to interact in the language as well. Even like my friends that know me, they're like, I'm like, oh yeah, I speak French, Italian, and all that I know, it's like two, three phrases just to break the ice, and then start a conversation, and then I go back to English. But definitely, the have that welcome feeling. When you meet a different person from a different culture, I think that definitely helps.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think in Brazilians in general, we do have this good fame, as I don't know how to call it, but that stereotype that we are good in welcoming different people, and I think it's true. I think it's not just a stereotype. Like, I think it's actually true. Maybe I'm biased because I am Brazilian, but that's at least working in hotels here in Rio de Janeiro. I heard that a lot, and I agree. I think we are. It's easy for us. We try to communicate, which I think it's something that distinguishes us. Like you're saying, you try to you try to speak a language, their language. Not every country um, does that. Like do the effort of really trying
Exactly,
to
it's the
communicate.
effort. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Wilka, now let's focus a little bit on hospitality specifically. You've seen like hospitality from different angles. You work in hotel sales, marketing, and all that. And you talk a lot about leadership. All right. So, do you think leaders who haven't worked the front line, are they missing something? Like, is it something that you think every leader should do, or it's something that you can skip it and still do it a great job?
For sure, they have to walk the talk.
Yeah.
So it's like I had this GM, huge shout out to him, Wes Santos, because he was the best GM that I ever had throughout my career. And fun fact, his parents are Brazilian. So
Oh,
yeah, but he was born and raised here in the States. But the way, he communicated with the staff in terms of culture. And, like, for example, he would ask us managers, hey, spend 30 minutes at breakfast welcoming guests that are, checking out. So I would do my rounds on breakfast, and I'm like, with pleasure, right? Because I'm like, hey, how's everything going? And of course, at times it wasn't just flowers and, roses, and people would be like, yeah, I had a challenge. The hot water didn't work. So then how you come back to that? And, I think having that leader coach, from Wes, I seen hand in hand. And this was from everybody that was a manager in that hotel. We were, really hands-on and working together as a team. Definitely, if people just, I also had, GMs that just said, oh yeah, you clean up the crosswalk because, there was an accident there, and they would never do it, even though, they were telling the employee to do. So I think for those people, it's unfortunate for them because, it's the impression they leave on the team, number one. And like, for instance, I wouldn't work with that guy ever again in my life. But it's like, you gotta be sure to also know what you're asking, right? Because if you're just like, for instance, me and Wes, I'm like, Wes, let's go on these sales calls. I have an event at Embassy XYZ. And he's like, yeah, sure. He would show up, 15, 20 minutes, and he would be on his way. But he understood how important it was to participate in those events with me because he was the general manager of the property, right? So I think having, of course, this experience as well in dealing with challenges, right, on an event or with a guest that wasn't happy, you learn from the best, right? So I think for us, when I was at the front desk, for me to have an answer and really empathize with the guests, I had to go through that process, right? You don't just wake up one day and like, yeah, I understand what you're feeling, and just saying without meaning. So yeah, that is not, people that do that, they're not really successful, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I agree. I think it's you can have some level of empathy, maybe, especially when things go wrong. But if you don't actually know what it means, like how that can impact, it's only when you kind of live the experience. I think you can have this extra layer of empathy or whatever you call it, like understanding that it's yeah, that it can be that can mean something. Actually, it's not just words.
Right.
And okay, so I mentioned that you work in sales and marketing, and I wonder, I know, well, I wonder, and let's see what you're gonna say. I'm not gonna lead you to anywhere. Uh, what, in your opinion, Wilka, what makes someone really good at hotel sales today?
Paula, it's a cliche a little bit, but don't take the no's personally, because there is, like, I worked in suburb areas, like where I wasn't the hot chick on the block. It wasn't a downtown hotel, and I had to make my way through it. So, definitely being humble and knowing where to prospect, and really be persistent, because they might not need you today, but if you develop a relationship, they might try your hotel, your accommodations, in 6 months, or why not? So really, I think the persistency and you know, learning how to follow is definitely some skills that, people are missing, especially to this day and age. Because I remember when I was um, in a hotel, and people would be like, oh my gosh, you called me back so quickly. And I was like, oh my God, okay, but like, my job is to call people back, right? Like, because if you're calling me, you have business for me. That's how I always thought about. And when you work also in team with your organization, like, oh, my hotel cannot accommodate a 200 guest event, but I have a sister property around the corner that can do it. Would you be willing for me to share this information with them? So it's like really teamwork, but not just within your hotel, right? With the entire company. I think that definitely makes, go in the end of the day for the organization, not just for your hotel per se. You're muted, Paula.
Why, why why I still doing this for at least 6 years and still on mute?
It's
Such
okay.
a
It's fine.
it's just because I'm so worried that with the noises and stuff. But anyway, I'm not gonna give an excuse. I'm sorry. So you mentioned something that I really want to to have a follow up, which is relationships. I am I'm not an expert in sales, like not even close. Like seriously, I'm very bad at it. Actually, I tried and I'm very very bad. But from what I hear, relationships, and you just said it, that relationships are really really important, right? So I wonder too, Wilka, do you think relationships still win deals, or maybe data is taking over, like it's all about numbers now because we have so much numbers and we are so focused on performance, or relationships still have a good
I
effect?
think it's both work hand in hand, Paula, because even right, like I've had been in Washington D.C. for like 8 years now, and I worked with people from 8 years ago that not necessarily I'm working with them right now. And that not because I don't have data to back me up, it's just it's not a fit for that organization. So for instance, I think once you have a relationship, right, you can call people on their cell phone like, hey, it's Wilka and I joined this new company, can we have coffee and have a conversation? So definitely open doors for you. um, but not necessarily that is gonna be the 100%, that people are going to close a deal with you. Because in the end of the day, it needs to make sense for them. And it's just a matter of, I believe, education, right? Like, what do you need? What are you looking for? Can we work together again? And you take from there. Like often, what I've seen too that has helped me, for instance, I have, when I started in sales, I worked in Baltimore. So when I came back to this area, I reached out to that hotel owner, and today they have 10 hotels in the area. So I know if I call him, he will answer and give me, his feedback on whatever question I have, or he's going to connect me with, other people that he find beneficial to that I speak to. So it's that type of relationship that you want, but it's also, relationships are two-way streets, right? It's not because I'm gonna get something from you that I'm gonna maintain a relationship with you, because that also is not gonna help you be successful, by the way, because people can pick up on that. But it definitely, it work hand in hand, that open your doors, open to a conversation, and then you're able to share data and analyze to see what you gotta offer makes sense, for that hotel or that business partner that you wanted to approach.
Yeah, I love that, and I think that's key. Like it's very different when you naturally build a relationship or something that's beneficial to both, or you just like interested in something in return, and like you said, people can sense that, and then it's just fake. It won't want to go. It won't work. Oh, Craig here is saying hello. Good morning from California. Craig, I was wondering where were you, because I think you were you joined all the shows so far. So thank you for being here. And then no, you're not Paula. You're sales every day. Yeah, I can see what I see what you mean, but honestly, I don't see myself as a salesperson. And Wilka, one thing that I want to also to would like to hear from you, because it's very interesting in your career, is that you used to work in hotels, and then you change to hotel tech or OTA, or like, like providers. So you seem like, what's the biggest mindset shift, do you think, when moving from a hotel to a provider, or whatever, another
Um,
hospitality company, let's say,
yeah,
business?
it's definitely a challenge because you were a client and then you became the provider. And, in hotels, like when I was in hotels, I developed a relationship with my account manager at booking.com here in DC. Richard Hill, another manager that I worked with directly that helped me to be successful in my hotel was Christian Loya. And those people, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're giving me so many insights that I had not thought about in desegmentation OT side. So I inquired, and an opportunity came along, and had an hour and a half conversation with Jake Dubois. Hey, Jake, shout out to you too, because he is definitely, I admire, the loyalty and the knowledge, right, that people have with organizations, but also to be able to connect with employees, right? Or connect with the partners, right? So for me, I was always connecting with hotel clients. Now, when I'm on the other side, I'm connecting with the hotels. So definitely, this connection. And for me, it's very easy, to be honest, because I've done it. I've done the job. So I always say, I know you're going through, or, you have to reschedule last minute, no problem. Because I know that your hotel sales day, your operations day can start with one schedule, and then a pipe burst, and you have to help the team. You can't be in that 11 a.m. meeting as you had planned or scheduled or got everything ready. So you got to adjust with the flow, and share this side as well with the hoteliers, because you understand their day to day. And for me, because I've had experienced, and now I'm on the other side of the tech as well, I'm just like, I gotta tell you these awesome things that we are building here, in this company, because it really blew my mind. So it's like when you give real examples of, how successful the hotel can be on using these other channels and segments, definitely, people will listen.
Yeah, I think it's a big advantage. I mean, honestly, like, you see things through their lens. Like, you, like I said, you actually know what they mean and what could impact their business and all that. I think it's a very big thing, honestly. Wilka, we are already heading to the end of the show, and I don't want to end before I touch two things. Still, I want to ask you about. One is, again, going back to your podcast. Can you please, because I forgot the name of your podcast, I'm so sorry. Can you just remind everybody? It's a leadership, right?
With
Just tell
leadership
me.
talks. Yeah, I have the channel on YouTube, and I started as well uh, during the pandemic, because I think, this is a great project, and kudos to you as well, because, it's not easy to schedule, right? The guests, it's not easy to be in front of people that you admire. Some at times, I'm quite nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, this person answered me, and I'm recording with them. It's nerve wracking, but also is you take yourself out of your comfort zone, right, Paula? And kudos to you for doing this as well. Off the clock is great. I've seen some of the interviews, especially my favorite, Bruce Jordan.
It was great. It was really, really good episode for sure. Because you know him. He's like direct and funny at the same time. So it's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a leadership talks podcast. I talk to folks in the hospitality. I invite, director of sales, general managers, revenue managers, and the top executives as well, and not just, uh, the directors, but really the executives, the owners. And I ask them questions like, okay, do you think if you were, working with your team hand in hand, to make sure people are also sharing their point
Yeah.
of view, because in the end of the day we learn so much, and we get better, in speaking with people the more we do.
Yeah. No, and then going, like, following up what you're just saying, that you interview leaders and you learn, and I also learn a lot from the guest. Has hosting the podcast changed the way you see, especially leadership? Was did you Yeah, did it impact you in some way?
I believe I've learned more from the leaders that I've, encountered and had conversations. For instance, I was doing an episode highlighting women, so women in hospitality, and I was interviewing Amanda Frank. We've never worked together. She was in a company in California at the same time I was in California, and we met in an event in Dallas. And after that, we always, chat via LinkedIn or why not. And she said one thing on the interview that was really powerful to me, that yes, I, as a woman in hospitality, to be in this level of, VP of sales and development, I've had asked people that are surrounding me to challenge me, and not just women, but ask men as well, because there's a lot of men out there that support women in hospitality, women in leadership. So that really stuck to me, because I think that is a huge learn, and not just, oh, I'm a woman, I want to work with women, or I want women to be supporting me 100% of the time. Because as you see, right, there's a lot of men out there that will also uh, take you serious, right, and give you the time for an interview, and be direct, straight to the point as well, when you are answering, certain challenging questions.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And Wilka, one last thing, one last topic that I would like to at least ask you one
Sure.
question, which is your personal branding. Because if you know you, we know that it is something very strong. You build a really good amount of followers and all that. So I wonder, Wilka, when did you realize that it actually matters? Do you remember when was, like,
I
the point?
remember.
Yeah.
I
So
think
please.
I've been on LinkedIn for like over 10 years, and I was like shocked, because um, it was a way for me to be connected with people that I've worked in different areas and parts of my life. Like, when I went to New York, how would I be in touch with the folks that I worked in New York? So it's like, or how, when I came back to the East Coast, how do I keep in touch with the folks that I met in California? So I was connecting and, getting those relationships on my radar, and not just forget about, right? Because you never know when you go back there. And for instance, I think once you start being consistent on LinkedIn, and it can be with your podcast, it can be with, your organization, your company, or even, in my community, like I was volunteering, there is a big event in DC, Passport DC, that I was connecting with the embassies of the area when I was in the hotel. So really, when you connect with people, and the branding, your, like, if you're working for multiple companies, people will remember, who is Paula Cairo, who is Wilka Nascimento. Oh, I've heard Wilka is here. Oh, people want to keep up with you, right? Like, what is
Yeah.
next? What is your next project? What is your next podcast coming out? So it's like people will ask you those things. And I think for me also, I've learned that my personal brand, I can share my own experience while I travel, right? Because besides being a hotelier, a sales professional, I'm also a customer. And how often you have great experiences, and you're actually sharing all of the great, about New Zealand, or all the great things about Rio de Janeiro, because this is hospitality, this is tourism. Like, people want to know real experiences. So, I try to share a little bit on LinkedIn as well, and not just, being on other platforms like Insta or whatever, but I talk about the experience I had at a hotel, the experience I had at, bungee jumping in New Zealand, or, you know, it's like, so people can get to know me as I'm a person too, and I have hobbies, and maybe we have something in common, and take it from there, not just be on that work conversations topic all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. No, I think you've done an amazing job, and that's how I found you, was through LinkedIn, and I don't actually remember exactly, but I'm sure it was on LinkedIn and your content, and I like it, and so on and so on, to start building a relationship. But Wilka, before we actually end, there's a segment in this what I call talk show that it's called "Would You Rather." Wait.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let me put it here very quickly. So would you rather, Wilka? It's like it is what the name says. Like, you're gonna have to choose one situation or another, one thing or another that I'm gonna present you, and you don't have to. Please don't overthink. It's like whatever comes to your mind first. Do you prefer this or that? And then you say, you don't need to explain if you don't want to. If you want to do a short explanation, that's fine. But if you don't, that's also fine. It's the fast and like fun part of the show, at least for me. Like, I really like that part of the show. So
Let's do it.
okay, let's do this. Let me put it here. The questions. So, Wilka, would you rather work in a hotel operations during a fully booked weekend, or handle hotel sales targets at the end of the quarter?
Sales.
All right. Uh, for next one, rather interview your dream guest and completely mess up your questions, or have a perfect interview with someone no one knows?
I think I mess up all the time.
No, you
Every
don't.
interview is a challenge because you don't know what the person's gonna answer, right? So
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
sometimes you can't go through your script, but I oftentimes I'm like, oh, I have to switch here,
Yeah.
or even like I mess up on, oh, I wanted to ask this, but I asked something else, or I asked a long ass question, and and people are like, you asked me three questions in one. Like, so I mess up all
Been there, done that. Yes.
the time.
So, which one? Sorry, which one you prefer? So
Interview your
the
dream
completely mess
guest.
up. Yeah, yeah.
I had her interview my dream guest, which I do all the
Next one, Wilka. It's just more three, I think. Uh, would you rather have a strong sales team and weak marketing, or strong marketing and weak sales?
have a strong sales team because I'm the strong marketing. So I'll make up for that.
Love that. I really like your take. Wait, no, wait. Just a second. Mess it up here. See, I'm talking about messing up. Yeah. So, would you rather give tough feedback, or receive tough feedback?
Oh, receive the feedback because that's how I can be better and change and make, adapt to what people are perceiving, and me professionally, which I had the pleasure to do at Booking with many colleagues. I would record my calls and I would send to people that never worked with me so they could, analyze and see how I was doing. So I think that has helped me tremendous in this particular market. So yeah.
Nice. And last one, a more easy one, I think. Would you rather drink coffee or caipirinha?
Repeating,
Any time of the day, or
hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Are you kidding me? If you meet me in Leblon next time I'm there, we're gonna have kite at 11 a.m. No problem. At the
uh,
beach,
I,
at the beach
I
in the
just
sun.
I just created a poll in the, I think it's in the chat, because this is a new feature for StreamYard, by the way. If you're watching this and you wanna answer, please do it. So you can tell us what you prefer, coffee or caipirinha, to the end of the show. And Wilka, before I say goodbye to you, there is to wrap things up. There is one thing that I have to ask: is the question that gives the show the name. So when you're truly off the clock, Wilka, no work, no emails, nothing. What do you love doing the most?
I love my dogs. I do everything with them. I go for walks with them in the park, and if I grab a salad in on a cavo, why not? I take them with me, and just really enjoying the outdoors with the dogs. It's definitely a highlight of my day every day. And when I'm not annoying them, like in the backyard and make them run like crazy, because we don't really have a long, walk available that time. So it's like I love being with them. I'm obsessed with my mini pinchers, Chocolate and Ophelia, and I can't wait to for them to have some babies.
God. That's so cool. Wilka, that's a wrapped on Off the Clock. Thank you so much again for being here. It's always fun to talk to you. Like, I know I'm gonna have a good time, and today was not different. So thank you so much for
Of
being here with
course,
us.
Paula. I want to come and see you in Rio soon. I don't know when that will
Yeah,
be because of the dogs. I need to schedule, arrange with them, for my sister to watch them and so forth. But definitely, we're going to catch up soon. I will let you know also once I'm in Rio. But thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun and, some tough questions for sure. But lots of shout outs, for folks that has been part of my journey here in the US. And I appreciate how gracious you are, and especially for inviting me.
Thank you so much. It was tough questions, but you gave all like really good answers for sure. Craig, thank you so much, Craig, for always being here. He's saying great show to us. Thank you so much. So that's a wrap, everybody. Thank you for watching, of course, for being in the chat and for supporting the show. If you enjoy it, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I know it's annoying to repeat this, but it's really, really important. It will help me a lot to reach more people. That's how social media works. So I'm sorry you have to, play the game. That's it for today. This was Off the Clock, where job titles take a break and real conversations steal the spotlight. See you next time.
Thanks,
Bye.
Paula.